Hey vinyl community, it's Mike the Aural Retentive here. I have a video today. Well, it was sort of brought on by the reading of the Rob Sheffield book on Bowie, which was, there was some history mixed in, but basically it was kind of an open love letter to David Bowie, you know, for the way, it more touched on the way David Bowie and his music, you know, touched on people's lives and you know, its effects on people more than it was just a straight up history book, which I thought was good. It's a quick read, it's good stuff. So, but that got me thinking about making a video that I've been meaning to make for some time. And that's basically a David Bowie confessional regarding his new album. But before we get to that, a little history. For me, I probably heard David Bowie songs before, back when I was a teenager, but you know, hadn't really absorbed them. But I do recall the first time I ever really associated David Bowie with a song, and that was when I heard Space Oddity. You know, it had probably been out for a while, but this particular day, the DJ on the radio station put on the record and then went off to do something or whatever, but it was Space Odyssey, or Space Oddity, sorry. And it was sometime, at some point, I think just after the countdown or just before the countdown, but the record started skipping. And man, I wish I had this tape still. But I was recording it on a cassette. You know, he was doing like a special or something, I don't know. But I was recording it, and I was listening to it on headphones, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell, this song is just going on forever. And it's just like droning, you know, and it skipped at a place where you didn't really notice it, like the music it sounded like a continuous loop, but it just kept going and going. And then, you know, after like a minute or 2 minutes, you hear this gook, and then, you know, the song went on, and he came on at the end, and he's like, you know, apologized or whatever. But and I have on the wall, actually, I came across this I don't know, a while ago. David Bowie with Space Oddity on one side and The Man Who Sold the World on the other. So I had to pick that up, and that's hanging on the wall over here. But my first actual Bowie album, so after I heard that, then I was like, okay, wow, I like this song. And it's hard to say if it didn't skip and really, you know, like imprint on my on my mind if you know, how it would have turned out. But as it was, I'm like, okay, I gotta check this guy out. So, as was my habit back in the day when I was getting into a band, the first thing I did was buy their live album, because I really like live music. So this was my first Bowie album. This is not the original. I don't have any of my original Bowies left, but this is the first one I bought, and I was like, what the, you know, this picture. And I've read that he was not a big fan of this album, but it was my introduction to a lot of stuff I'd never heard before. So I mean, you know, this is kind of you know, early greatest hits stuff. So this one, you know, based on this one, I'm like, oh, I gotta get some other stuff. So I bought, you know, whatever I could find. I had a tape of Low, which I devoured voraciously, and I had a tape of Heroes, and I got another album. I think I had Space Oddity, but I don't know. But you know, that's what kicked it in. So then I became kind of a collector, and I didn't have a lot of money. You know, this is high school times. But I did have some technology. So what I would do is actually like record, you know, like I rented the movie Absolute Beginners. He does a couple songs in there, so I actually like dubbed the music off the videotape, and I had that on a cassette for a while, and then you know, just he was on like Tonight Show or Saturday Night Live or something, and so I had this tape of like, you know, just odds and ends. For the life of me, I can't find that tape, and I wish I could, but you know, I've seen him in a couple of movies and whatnot. So then, in '87, during his Glass Spider tour, I got to see him. He came. Here's my stub. That's the Glass Spider tour. This is in Milwaukee at the Marcus Amphitheater. Any of you familiar with Summerfest will know what the Marcus Amphitheater is. $18.50 for that ticket. That was like the most I'd ever paid for a concert ticket at that point. But it was a great show. Peter Frampton came on stage first and did some crazy guitar stuff. And then, you know, eventually everybody else came on stage. And it was a big production. He played a lot of greatest hits, but he played a lot of stuff off the current album, which all had, you know, basically theater pieces with them, along with them. And then there were, you know, people running around in the rigging, doing stuff. And, you know, it was as much visual as anything else. But then I kind of lost track of Bowie, I have to say. I went on to harder music. You know, I was dabbling in all kinds of crazy stuff, but I was working in a factory and a guy was telling me that there was a new Bowie album and that it was like techno. He's like, if you like 9 Inch Nails, you're gonna like this one or whatever. And I was like, what? And I bought at an outlet mall. I found this, and it was the Outside. So I bought the CD of, well, it's one Outside. And I sat in the car and listened to it in an outlet mall parking lot while everybody else shopped. And I was, you know, furiously reading the liner notes and the, you know, the lyrics and stuff, and I was blown away. I thought it was amazing. And I liked all the little weird voices and stuff. I was kind of surprised that a lot of critics kind of, you know, railed him for it being too theatrical or whatever, but I was like, the last thing I saw of him was like total theater, you know. But I thought it was great, Outside. So then, a couple of years ago, around Christmas time, my friend Dalton came over and he was like, I got something I think you might like. This is for you. And he put his bag on the table, and I just pulled out one after another Bowie albums. He was giving me all his Bowie vinyl. I'd gotten him back into getting records again after Abby started me. And so he was going through his records, and he kept Ziggy Stardust and Spiders of Mars for himself, but he gave me everything else that he had of Bowie's, and I was just blown away. So then, when I heard the announcement of Blackstar coming out, I was like, wow. I mean, I forgot. So the next day, not the next day, but the album, David Bowie album the next day, was streamed on Rolling Stone. And I listened to that as a stream, and really liked that one too. And I'm like, wow, you know, it's like, he's back. You know, it was kind of sounded like the old Bowie, you know, I mean, ups and downs, you know, mellow, harder, but it sounded good. So when I saw then the pre-sale stuff for Blackstar, I was like, oh, I'm gonna totally get one of these, right? And I think it amounted to like $12 more or something like that. I bought the clear vinyl edition. So, you know, of course, as everyone knows, it came in the mail, and I didn't have a chance. I was gonna, you know, do an opening video of it. Was I doing videos then? I don't remember what made me wait, but I didn't open it right away. And then, of course, he passed away, right? So, I don't know. In the weeks that followed, I listened to this. Young Americans, side 1. So Young Americans Win, Fascination, and Right. I listened to this over and over and over and over again. I couldn't bring myself to listen to anything else. I don't know why this one, because this isn't necessarily my favorite Bowie album, but it was, I don't know, it was the right vibe. And you love this copy, right? It's got duct tape, or some kind of, I think it's electrical tape actually, holding it together all the way around. So yeah, it's not in the best shape, at least the outside. The inside's in great shape. RCA, you know. So I listened to this continuously, and then eventually I was like, okay, I was avoiding hearing, trying to avoid hearing anything on Blackstar. I heard snippets of, Lazarus, and there was another one. Oh, the song Blackstar. But I'd never really fully listened to the songs. So, I still have unopened my my copy of Blackstar. So you can, I don't know if you can see the label there. This is Blackstar, and then Clear VI next to it. So that's my clear vinyl version of it. I haven't opened it, and I couldn't I couldn't get myself to open this and play it. I don't know if it just would make it seem too real or what. And then, after a while, I'm like, well, I haven't opened it this long. Why should I now? Anyway, so that's still here. So then, okay. So now I'm like, well, I gotta listen to it, right? So I ordered just a black vinyl copy. And I haven't opened this one yet either. So I think what I'm probably going to do is wait until next year on the anniversary of his death and put on, some red lights in the vinyl closet and grab a beer and come down here and listen to it. I know it sounds crazy that I haven't listened to it yet, but I maybe, I think part of me, like I said, sort of wants to believe it didn't happen by not opening it. Part of me is afraid I won't like it, even though I've heard good stuff about it. I don't know why, but it's just a weirdness that I have. So I have gotten a bunch of some of the missing items in my vinyl collection. I mean, I have everything on digital, but I picked up some of the missing pieces. Still a few left in the later albums that I need, yeah. So that's my David Bowie Blackstar Confessional. I still haven't listened to it. I haven't even listened to it online. I mean, I know I could go on Spotify right now and spin it, but I'm waiting for the proverbial perfect moment, I guess. So, crazy, I know, but that's why this is a confessional. So, and that's my little bit of history with Bowie. So, yeah, has anybody ever had this where you just... I had this once before with a band that I listened to the first album, and then it wasn't actually their first album, it was in the middle of their catalog, and I listened to it and I loved it so much that I was actually terrified of listening to the other albums that they have because I was afraid I wouldn't like them as much. That was Silver Sun Pickups, and it was just weird. I don't know, was that problems maybe, I don't know, but so that's my confessional. Thanks for listening and watching.